This is Visions Under Construction, a chance for our guests to share their visions and tell us what they're working on. For their continued support, we would like to thank Simwood, straight-talking, forward-thinking telecoms. Simwood.com. Why not make Cloudonics your communication partner? Go to cloudonics.io. You can find everything about the VUC at vuc.me, thanks to Bluehost, and thanks also to zipdx.com, the conference bridge, and to voxphone.com for local rate dial-ins. And there's a little bit of a scoop because I don't remember if I mentioned this last week or the week before or the week before that, but very recently, Google has allowed Blogger. You can have your own domain on Blogger, and we have one, and that would be live.vuc.me. And they have installed certificates for us. Did I say this last week already or the week before? I don't know.
No.
Corrado Mello with us. Corrado.
No, I don't think. We discussed it.
Okay, well, this is important. And Michael Graves is with us. Hey, Michael.
Hello.
So I find this interesting because for the longest time, you could have your own domain name, which we did. Canonical, I added live.vuc.me. You put that in your DNS, and they deal with requests. They give you the IP to point it at, and that's all well and good. But now that everybody's got to be HTTPS, got to be, right?
Yeah, because Google Chrome requires it, and it will complain, but it would be schizophrenic from Google to force you to go to HTTPS website from the browser and not support it in their own platforms. So
exactly. So I'm happy they did that, and that relieves that one problem. Anybody who's starting up, for example, our Mastodon services, who are furnished by an individual in Portugal for us, he immediately did that, and I guess everyone's using these certificates. I can't remember what it is. You guys know, though, the one that's just automatic, 3 months free. What is that called?
Let's Encrypt.
There you go. Let's Encrypt.
Let's Encrypt, yes.
That's a good thing. Anyway, HTTPS for all, that's all wonderful. So now it's kind of a ghetto thing where you have a friend's site and you go look at it. HTTP, huh?
Yeah. Well, my own business website, I bought the certificate. It's installed, but I need to change a number of things in WordPress, in the engine underneath, to route everything on HTTPS, and I didn't have the time yet. So, as always, from one thing to another, I still Google related. I see Google Cardboard at the back there. Is it?
It's was a free thing that came from my OnePlus.
All right. Okay.
But I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah, more or less. How do you find watching 3D anything with glasses on? Can you manage?
Michael and I talked about this briefly before, and the use case, I'm still waiting for good porn to come out that way. Otherwise, I see no. Even then, I'm not sure.
No, I really don't want to see a 3D schlong really right in front of me. That's not kosher. I'm sorry.
What we were saying with Michael is that Burning Man, an event like Burning Man would be good. But Michael came up with a very interesting suggestion, I think, which is the Renaissance fairs or any kind of manifestation like that locally, because that would be fun to just have a place where you had good LTE. I guess hopefully that's enough, and be showing but we were talking 360 there. Sorry, I mixed up the two things. That's good.
I came close to buying, and I may yet buy one of the essential phones because the price of them has fallen considerably. And if you buy one now, they give you the 360-degree camera module for it, and I think it's got 128 meg of memory or gig of memory on them. So literally, to go to the Renaissance Festival and sort of take a 360 video, that would be an interesting idea, just to do that as an experiment without spending too much money.
No, yeah, but also augmented reality in an environment like Renaissance Fair, where you can underimpose a scenario, for example. So there's all of production options that you can take to create an event from nothing.
I like augmented reality much more than virtual reality. I think virtual reality is limited to certain kinds of interest.
Yeah, of course. We're always circling back to porn anyway. Virtual reality is still too crude, and the computing capacity, the computational capacity you need to create something that is even as close as the definition, resolution, and fluidity of motion of real life is very difficult to obtain.
I would like to just make sure that we understand each other. When I'm talking about porn, I think that what's missing isn't a definition, high definition video, but the actual experience. So you're going to have some kind of Cortex plugin or something like that. And we're not quite there yet. Yeah, there's an app for that, I'm sure, but so that's all. That's a big joke. This porn thing, musical performances. There's, a friend of mine told me about something. He said, "But if you tell anybody, I'm gonna have to kill you." And I'm actually loath to say this in public, but I think it's fairly obvious. That was a while back. That how people film concerts on their phones and how horrible it usually is, by the way, and how they're also filming the person in front of them who has the thing up higher, that kind of thing. Anyway, if you could recover every one of those films for a single concert and put them together into a single recording, there may actually be something there.
Mm-hmm.
What would that be called? Multi-view, multicam.
Well, and isn't that kind of what YouTube is doing with their multiple cameras for events? You can stream several different streams and let the audience pick their perspective.
We really have to do an experiment. When Corrado, did you get your new camera yet? By the way,
no, not yet. I've ordered it, but it's not. It probably arrive with another couple of things Tuesday.
You mean, yeah, it'll come with it's been bundled with the cleaning products you bought for the office from Amazon. That's how that works.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So Corrado, look at this video. And this is normal video for me. I don't know if it's any different than normal, but check this out. This is fine. And this is a new camera, which is actually on a tripod mounted behind my monitor. And that's why it's looking down on me, because for a good-sized monitor, and the tripod only gets so short. And this one has the advantage of being a PTZ camera. Yeah. So now I've turned off the.
Focusing on the background, not on your face.
Well, I turned off the autofocus because it was seeking. So hang on, I'll turn on the autofocus. It was seeking, and that kind of annoys me. There, you see that, how it racks in and out?
Yeah.
But
it was not focusing on you. It was focusing on the on the furniture at the back. Probably because there's more contrast there.
Yeah, I had only manually focused it with a small image. So, because if you put it in manual focus, you can do what you like with it. Just so I can move that over here. Let's see if I can get this right. This is the most expensive webcam I've ever experienced.
Is there a focus on the remote, Michael?
There is not, which is sort of a...
There you go. Now
good thing I have all this flyaway hair there. So
how do you focus?
There is an app. Hang on, I can show you the app.
On your
computer.
Yeah, just a sec. I will capture the desktop here. My computer has decided that maybe it's not all excited about doing that, but so there is an app here, and in the app you have controls to be able to pan, tilt, zoom. It would actually normally, if I wasn't using the stream from the camera, it would show me a preview. You can do a few different things here. And so that's kind of cool. And just to side by side them. So that's one is the normal one, the one on the, well, you probably see it on a different side. The one that's looking down on me is the newer one.
That's
this camera is
a difference in color.
Yeah.
Chroma.
The colors,
yeah,
which is interesting. It's not that different enough where we can see it.
Well, and so the question I have is, looking back behind me at the scene, both of those cameras are lightening it up relative to what it actually is, but the newer one is actually more accurate. The other one is reacting to the windows too much. It's all kind of funny.
Probably because the left, from our point of view, camera is seeing also a lot of white ceiling and the white door in its entirety, so it's a lot brighter.
Could be. It's so this camera, if you went to buy it right now, is $1,200. This PTZ camera. You remember we had Scott Wharton on here a couple of years ago? Scott used to run a company called VidTel.
Yep.
And he's now the head of all things video conferencing at Logitech. And so I reached out to him when they launched this thing because I thought maybe this is something that we could use for conferences and stuff like that. But we've only had it a couple of days, so we're just playing with it for now.
Is the autofocus on the camera itself in the intelligence of the camera, or is still the app doing that?
My impression is that it's in the camera itself because it's just a UVC device. So that means that you don't actually have to load the app. It's got a couple of presets. So, for example, if I go to the home position, let's get to that camera here. That camera. So that's its home position, and then I had programmed another preset. Now, here's one of the things. I was debating with some folks about PTZ mechanics, and there's a kind of a reality that there's two kinds of PTZs. There's something that goes to a preset position like that, where you don't really care about the nature of the motion. And then there's the kind of PTZ where you actually want to program positions and you want the motion to be smooth as if a human was doing it. And the difference between these two things is about $20,000. So somebody was asking, could you make the movement be smooth? And could you do that? Could an app drive that wasn't built into the camera? I was like, no. Yeah,
because you probably need to literally on the app on the smartphone itself or the tablet, you need to draw the curve you want to the two PTZ motors to stepper motors to do. It's always jerky though. What humans do is to be smoother, starting slower and panning and then slowing down before arriving. So it's progressive. It's not.
I can do that.
Well, you have you have that. That's true, but my very first job when I got out of college was working for an AV company, and one of the things that we did that was unique in the city of Toronto was we had a motion control stand. So you could take like a 2 1/4 transparency, put it on our lit table, and we could program moves that were PTZR moves. And back then, producing corporate video was really expensive. So we used to get $300 an hour, and somebody would come in with a bunch of slides and transparencies, and we, record moves on them to videotape, and then they would edit that into their program. But those things, in order to do the motion smoothly, you don't really want steppers at all. You want servo motors.
Yeah. Linear.
And somebody did note that you could build a good PTZ controller using the parts from a large RC airplane, because all the RC airplane motors are servos.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Usually they're not. Well, servos can be driven correctly, so they are smooth, starting slow and ending slow.
If you think about the progress that's been made with drones, I guess I bought a drone. It was like $80. It's not that great, but if you spend $2,500 on a drone, the thing, I've seen the YouTube demos of this. It will, you can program it to do any flight pattern you want, and it will follow you. You can be on a skateboard. I think that's probably the demo I saw. Or people running around, jogging in the forest, and the drone will stay at a certain distance and take beautiful stabilized video, of it. So well, of course, that is $2,500, but it's more complicated to do that than it is to have a PTZ device.
Yeah. My wife bought a DJI Phantom 4 Pro, which is about $1,500 all in, I think. She's used it twice. She bought it, at work. The idea being they used to hire a helicopter to shoot aerials over parks, and now they're using the drone because buying the drone costs less than one helicopter outing.
Yep.
So that was fine. She did, however, borrow one of my Android tablets and never brought it back. So I keep bugging her. It's been like a year now. I want that tablet back.
As the controller for the drone. Yeah.
Can't you play with the drone, Michael? Not interested? Kind of fun.
Yeah, she asked me to quote unquote show her how to work it. So we went across the road into the schoolyard next door, and we played with it for an hour or two.
Let me clarify. You went with a drone into a schoolyard.
Yeah.
Okay. How
on a weekend?
Okay. On a weekend, by the school.
On a weekend.
Otherwise, I was going to ask you how quickly the police was around.
No, it didn't work that way. It was on a Saturday afternoon, and we spent a couple hours. And the DJI stuff is so simple. I mean, it's got this sort of automatic return home mode where if you're having a problem, you hit this button and it comes back to where it started.
Yeah.
Right.
Or and batteries are running low.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't like the noise they make, but that's just me. I'm sensitive to noise.
Mr. Smith is with us.
Hello. Apologies for being late. I'm here though.
Stop.
Good. Have you bought anything interesting?
Have I bought anything interesting? I don't know. I can talk about the miseries that Mr. Bodie's got at the moment. He's was having his wonderful house rethatched. It might have rained a bit last night.
And you definitely need a thatcher for that, right?
Yes, indeed. Not a Margaret. So he has one very flooded room in particular.
Ooh.
So I presume that's why he's not here at the moment.
He's probably trying to shovel water out of the living room.
Well, I believe he has an impromptu paddling pool to use if he wishes.
All right.
So what you're saying, he has an indoor pool now?
Yeah. Basically, he's rather than fixing the roof, he's now got an indoor pool. Yes.
Don't tell the taxman that they will come and tax you because you have an indoor pool.
Oh, I'm sure.
They pools actually drive down in our city anyway. They drive down the value of the property because they're considered a maintenance nightmare.
Right. Yeah. Well, is there a risk of that becoming an alligator pond?
No, not so much. But
okay.
But they are headaches. There are two on our block that I know of.
Going back to drones, I toyed a bit with getting a drone, even not the smartest and the best, to do site inspections for wireless links, point to point, going up near the locations to see physically if the line of sight was clear. In the mid-range market, do any of you have any recommendations?
I've never played with a drone at all. Initially, when they first came out, they were of interest, and then everybody started to play with drones and so on, and they just got annoying. So I'm afraid I've never done anything with drones at all. So no, I'm afraid I have nothing to offer.
Yeah, I haven't any direct experience except the one that Stella bought, and she bought the Phantom 4 specifically because it was sort of, I'm not sure what you mean by mid-range market, but at like, I think it was 1,200 and change from B&H, plus she needed a tablet to go on it. That wasn't too bad. It was sort of within their budget. It's got the camera built in.
Oh.
It's not the sort where you glom another camera on it.
Come on, Randy, show it. Show and tell.
This was, I think, something like 80 euros. It's very, very hard to control. I thought it was good. It would be good to get one of these uncontrollable things to get good at. So using the controller is really hard. Plus, I learned that you can't fly it anywhere in the city. Not anywhere.
David Frankel, had some repairs done on his house. It was in the driveway. I think they were redoing the driveway, and the contractor brought a drone while his crew was working. Took some before and after shots of the house and whatnot, and that was all well and good. And gave David the video, which he was keen to have. But then the next week, apparently, they were doing something else somewhere else with that drone, and they flew it over a hill, and it lost connection to its controller, and they lost the drone and they couldn't find it.
Okay, we interrupt our current discussion to move to James Bodie, who has a report on the inclement weather and the situation for thatchers in the Valley.
Well, the good news is it's not raining, the sky is blue, the sun is shining, but last night it wasn't. And I don't know whether you've heard the story. We have a house in our room which was previously known as the music room. It's now known as the swimming pool room, the pool room.
Yeah.
And I would take you and have a look. In fact, should we go and have a look in the pool room? Do you want to have a look in the pool room?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get our feet wet.
Swap the camera. Oh, it's up on there. There we are now proceeding to the pool room. Hopefully I won't drop us. Hello to the puppy.
You need a raincoat, though, an anorak.
Puppy. Nice puppy.
Hello.
Puppy. Oh, it gets a bit dark in here, but here we go. You're coming into the pool room. Everything's up, but there is the pool.
Okay.
Why is the water
coming in through the roof?
Why is the water black?
Because it's coming in through the thatch.
Yeah, it's taking the tannins from the thatch.
Yeah. Anyway, you get the idea.
For man to drink it,
and you can see the watermarks on the wall, and all of this floor, and you can see how it's just coming up a little bit there. Was awash last night.
Right.
So yeah, huge fun. So welcome to the pool room.
Yeah. The wonders of modern life, is it?
Yeah, you get the idea, don't you?
No electrical problems with water infiltration?
No, because the water tends to come down through the beams. We have lots of these oak beams.
So how does a thatched roof stay leak-proof?
Well, the water runs down.
It?
Well, let's take you outside. I'll show you, actually.
Why not? Try everything else.
Yeah, why not? There we go. So here we have a pile of thatch waiting to go up on the roof. And there is the thatch actually being done. So what we're looking at here is a gully on the roof. And gullies are always a bit of a problem.
Gully.
But anyway.
Yeah, it's where the bits of the roof come together at an angle that creates a channel.
Yeah, and you
that's exactly
down below that pipe there are bits where the thatch is beginning to wear. And basically it just kind of rots away.
Mm-hmm.
And where you have lots of water running down is where Oh, which reminds me, can you see that? Can I zoom in? No, I can't zoom in. But can you see that on the chimney?
Yes.
That is a Chalk Mobile 4G cell. With the cell is the bit on the right-hand side with the two antennas. See if I can get a better angle on it.
It must be really dreadful for your roof to actually be walking up there to mount such things, right?
Your roofs. Here's mine.
Yeah, there we are. So you can see that now. So the thing with the two antennas coming down is a 4G cell, an eNode B, and then the bit on the other side, which looks like a very large cigar box, is the point-to multi-point link equipment, and then we've got a little mushroom thing. Oh, it's in my hair. Little mushroom thing on top, which is a GPS antenna, and the thing uses GPS not for location, but for timing.
The timing, yes.
Yeah, because
time marking the packets.
Yeah, this one. Let's switch back to me. This particular one is running. My fingers in the way. Is running LTE TDD. That's where you transmit and receive on the same frequency, and the synchronization timing is pretty critical with TDD. So you have to be within, I don't know, 5 microseconds or something.
So TDD is the IC of LTE.
TDD as opposed to FDD.
Yeah, TDD.
Time division duplex, it stands for, as opposed to FDD, which is frequency division duplex. FDD, you transmit on one frequency, receive on another one. Okay.
My mic is off.
Whereas,
no, Randy,
TDD,
your mic is not off. James is just not letting you have a word in.
Yeah, as always.
Sorry. Well, I've just had a very useful session talking about how the business model for rural mobile. Have you seen them? I've got a crack in our roof.
Yeah.
You have a cock behind you.
What?
You have a cock behind you.
Yes, I do. A cock-a-rool.
Just to make a point of it, what I said was that TDD for LTE, TDE is the X of LTE.
No, I wouldn't say that. I really wouldn't. It sort of is in a way, but I mean, if you go around Europe, nearly everything is FDD. If you go around Asia, nearly everything is TDD.
Well, that's a lot more TDD.
What about America?
That's FDD. But Americans just do their own thing.
America.
Can I give you another interesting and useless fact? I don't know whether you saw the launch of the new iPhone or iPhones. But,
me too, Colorado.
Rather interestingly, they were the first mass-produced phones that have come out that actually support band 46 and band 77. Both of those LTE bands are very, very significant. But band 46 is license-free. Yes, you heard it. You can operate an LTE service on license-free spectrum. So it's the top end of 5 gigs. So license-free.
I have a license for fixed wireless access for the top end of the 5.5 gigahertz range.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes, it is. If you go into Wikipedia and just look up LTE bands in Wikipedia and look at band 46, it will tell you the frequency range. And it's all of 5 megahertz. And so that iPhone is the first phone or mass-produced phone that actually supports that band. And
interestingly, that is a TDD band 46. Band 46.
Yes, it is. It's TDD, which makes it easier from a spectrum management point of view.
Well, it's easy enough to make a phone that already works in FDD using 2 transmitters and 2 receivers, or 1 transmitter and 1 receiver. Use time division with just one of the 2 circuits. So it should be possible to have a multi-standard phone. Yeah,
of course it is. Because most modern phones these days support both FDD and TDD.
Yeah,
typically 40 plus bands. So the other band 77, is also significant because that's the band that takes in TV white space. Now, you know about this, don't you, Corrado?
Yeah.
Tell us about TV white space.
Well, the white space, besides the fact that moving from analog to digital, we have squeezed a lot of channels in very little space physically in the bandwidth. There is also white space in between the frames of transmission of a standard analog signal. There's a lot of space that is now completely free. What has Ofcom done something? Yeah.
Randy's waving his
Wasn't
Randy,
space used previously for subcarrier broadcasting or something like that? There was a use for that at one time, but it was years ago.
Well,
it was used for teletext, wasn't it?
Yeah, teletext and well, that's how they squeezed the color signal into the standard for PAL at least.
Sure, no, in NTSC as well. That's how they they needed a subcarrier, so they did it on a sideband kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of waste in analog transmission, analog TV signal transmission. A lot of empty unused space.
Well, and there's no analog TV left in North America.
I don't think there's anything left here in the UK either. And as far as I know, Italy, everything has gone digital. How is the situation in France?
I think it's the same. I don't think there's any terrestrial TV anymore, any analog.
And what is the situation on FM where you are?
Haven't had an FM radio on for ages. I don't know.
In the U.S., analog FM is still widespread, but they all have digital. I'm tempted to say subcarriers. It's encoded, right? It's using the. I think Ubiquity is the company name that did a. They can embed an FM, a digital FM carrier in the analog signal, and they're actually talking about embedding a second or third, much as the TV channels do. With their digital channel, they can embed as many as 4. They can have a primary and 3 secondary, but the bit rates available are reduced dramatically. It's one of the advantages that the networks that run 720p video have is they have more bandwidth available for their secondary and tertiary channels. And witness ABC in Chicago, when I was doing business with them, they had a 4th channel, which was unusual, and the 4th channel was just a full-time weather radar, but the bit rate assigned to it was so low that when they had a fast-moving storm come through, the weather radar would actually break up because it didn't have enough bandwidth to convey an animated map. Yeah.
Wow.
How does it work that in certain car radios you can see the name of the song? That's FM or not?
Yeah, on FM.
RDS. Yeah, there's a sub-carrier on the RDS.
What's the name of that? Oh.
What does RDS stand for?
RDS, yeah, radio data signal, radio data system is something.
Yes,
RDS, yeah.
And there's a sub-carrier, a digital sub-carrier embedded in there somewhere, which contains a whole load of information like the station name and the type of service. And it's the thing that when there's a news flash or a traffic broadcast, it's the thing that springs it all into life. So all kinds of things you can do with it. But RDS in itself has been around for what, 30 years? It's been around
a very long time. Yeah. It's also the one that switches where if you have your radio that is ready to get traffic alerts, that switches on the station automatically. That gets you the traffic or the weather alerts. Yes.
And all that technology was actually before cell phones were common, right? So now you got internet.
I remember my very first RDS radio was in a Ford Escort XR3i.
Oh, good grief! You have one of those.
Registration plate. What was the registration plate? You don't remember?
I remember what the UK registration, but it had a British Forces Germany registration, Bravo 78 WHM.
All right.
Wow.
Or was it the other way around? It's British Forces Germany anyway. I had a tax-free British Forces Germany car. As you do.
Well, yeah. Well, would have been in the 80s, probably, is it?
Yeah, it was in the mid 80s.
So you were of the age to have the boy racer vehicle.
Yeah, and I chopped that in and got a Ford RS Turbo.
Oh, good grief. Do you know, I went for a test drive in one of those and thought, this is just a street racer.
Yeah.
It was entertaining, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, for you, probably.
I don't know why I ended up with one of those, because they're pretty naff cars, but I learnt my lesson. I grew up very rapidly.
Now you're driving a Porsche. No. Well,
I drive a Land Rover.
A Land Rover.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Toyota Aygo. Do you know those little Toyota Aygos are? They're incredible.
Yeah,
It's a four-door car. It's got a 998cc engine. It's got a fuel tank about the size of a thimble, which you fill it up once in a blue moon. It is insurance group #1, and you cannot get any lower than insurance group 1. And in UK, we have to pay road tax based on your emissions. And do you know how much the road tax for it is? Zero.
Okay.
Zero, because the emissions are so low, it doesn't qualify. So you pay no tax. It doesn't get any better. So insurance group 1, fuel tank.
Body the tax dodger.
Yeah, and it's fun to drive. It's got all the electronics in, lots of buttons to press, tinted windows, alloy wheels, and it goes like quite sporty actually. I like it.
I can imagine Dan right at this moment going, what about my Tesla then? Absolutely no emissions at all. Goes really quick. It's comfortable.
Well, the difference is
the difference is that the head of Tesla is a
and the Toyota I pay something like £139 a month for, and I shouldn't think how much he pays for his Tesla, but it'll be about sort of 10 times more than that, won't it?
Yeah, possibly.
And okay, so Tesla does go faster, but I think I can go further without having to refuel in my little roller skate car. Meep, 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 meep. When I first had it, I just had to drive around going meep, meep.
How terrifying is to overtake a lorry, a large lorry with that on the motorway?
Well, it's not too bad actually, because it handles so well.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the handling is just, and when you're in it, because it's so spacious on the inside, you don't realise how small it is on the outside. It's a bit like a TARDIS. You go into it and go, oh, it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
I don't know.
That is the problem. That is the classic problem with American cars. Is they're always bigger on the outside than they are on the inside.
That's true. Yeah. And it's great watching an American come here to the Chalk Valley, and inevitably they go and hire a big car like Paul Christophero, when he came out here a couple of weeks ago, came out in a big Mercedes, and seeing an American driving along a UK country lane, particularly when they meet the 29 bus going the other way, they go, oh my God, I'm going to die. It's very, very funny. They don't like it.
It's actually not much fun to meet the 29 bus coming the other way, no matter what you're driving.
No, that's very true. And
which Dan were you referring to?
Jenkins, Mr. Jenkins, who has that Tesla. Did he not show you at ComCon?
I don't recall. You know, I haven't owned a car myself in probably 12 years, maybe more.
Yeah, my son, my 18-year-old son, now has 2. He's got his 1972 VW Beetle, and as of about 2 weeks ago, he went out, came back with another car, which is a Peugeot 106, which actually is in pretty good nick. It's got a nice radio in it as well, an RDS radio.
106? You mean the vintage Peugeot 106?
No,
one of the news.
The new one.
All right.
I'll show you. Here we go.
Is this because he wanted something that would return him home as well as going out?
It's got a ding in the side, but there we are. You can just about see it there. That's what it looks like.
The old 106.
250 quid for that, and with 6 months MOT and road tax. I mean, you can't go wrong, can you? So he's going to take that back to Guildford, back to university, and hopefully not break down.
I have a question for the engineer among us.
Is there one? Yeah, carry on.
Corrado.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a tech procedure, what do you choose? What do you look to operate? This is basically a programming thing. When you're going to optimize something, what are you going to optimize? You're going to optimize the loop, the thing that keeps coming back, processing. Does that sound reasonable?
What's the purpose of this question, Randy?
Well, if you let me finish.
Well, you optimize first input and output for speed, memory consumption, and then processing.
So these things are all with regard to cost versus the return. It's basically return on investment, whether
ROI, yeah,
it's energy or time,
budget,
right?
Your computational budget,
heat.
Yeah,
I mean that comes into in engineering.
Yeah.
So my point is that what is the one thing that has cost the most in your budget year after year? Is it housing? Is it transportation? Cost of ownership, right?
Well,
is it your iPhone?
With a family of 5, probably food.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
For me, it's definitely housing.
Okay.
But then again, that's because I live in a rented house, and have done for many, many years. And the rentals these days are not cheap, shall we say?
Oh.
Yeah, but you don't have a thatched roof, do you?
No, I don't. I don't have to maintain it. Would you say that your house costs you more money than food? Then
yes, definitely, undoubtedly. But then again, people would say that we live in a desirable house.
I don't know. Cracks and leaks.
Yeah, how many houses do you know have got their own private pool room?
Corrado, if food is the main expense, you must be eating good stuff. I mean, not necessarily expensive, but good.
We tend, yes, not to buy cheap stuff, and we love eating and we love drinking moderately, but in quality. With 3 teenagers, they're always hungry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say that the largest outgoing monthly is food and groceries.
So how many cars in your household?
2.
Kids aren't old enough yet to have their own cars.
No. 2 cars, between insurance, road tax, and average month. Well, in an average month, I use about £100 of petrol now because I'm commuting from home and work. So, no, it's about £1,000 between insurance and road tax and MOT and maintenance for both cars.
A month?
No, a year.
1,000 a year?
Yeah.
It's not much.
No. A Twingo and a Renault Scenic. Insurance very cheap. Road tax is £200 for mine and £30 for the wife. There are no road tolls in Scotland at all, so you pay nothing to go around. Petrol, well, I don't use that much. So no, it's a fight between the rent where we stay and the food, but usually we are around £600-700 a month in groceries.
Huh. Interesting. What's James pointing to? You want to show us, James?
Yes, I do. I have got.
What is that thing? Take that away from my face. Okay.
Right. This is my new toy. It is incredibly clever. What it is an RF.
It's written on it.
Impedance analyzer. Made in China. It costs very, very inexpensive, about $150, or a bit less than $125. What it does is it squirts a little bit of RF into an antenna under test. and then measures well, all of the parameters. And there they are. You can see this is operating on 1878 megahertz. It's got an RF source in there which puts out 10 dBm, which is actually quite a lot of power. You can actually use this as a jammer. But the really clever bit is if I press that button, is that it then draws a graph for you.
Please don't press that button again.
So this is VSWR, voltage standing wave ratio, between, what's this? Start is 1100 megahertz, and the top end is 2500 megahertz. And then with the little thing, I can move my pointer and
read what is
see the points at which it's resonant. How cool is that?
Okay, so that is just to measure an aerial efficiency and resonance frequency and so on.
Yes, indeed. Right. So this one shows that this this particular antenna is resonant at around 1900 megahertz. So bearing in mind this is designed to be this is a Huawei antenna for use with an LTE modem. That's okay.
Don't take the aerial off.
Well, I'm going to
forward on.
Because I'm going to put another one on. This one is, again, an LTE antenna sold with a TP-Link LTE modem. And how good do you think it is compared with the Huawei one? TP-Link. Quality bit of kit.
Okay, let's see.
Actually, it's not that bad. Look at that. That's actually better, I think, isn't it? No, it isn't.
No.
So you can see the frequency that you don't want to be on, which is right up there. Look at that, 4:1 VSWR on.
Yeah. And it's much higher than before. The scale has changed.
1400, but that's not a. Yeah. I can change the scale.
No, it changed automatically when you change the aerial, because the other one had a smaller problem. It was.
So it's 2500 megs as high as that goes.
Yeah, so it does Wi-Fi bands. So well 2.4 gig Wi-Fi. So it does 130 up to 2.5 gigs.
You think it would change anything to remove the plastic from the antenna?
Oh yeah, that makes all the difference with standing wave ratios.
Okay, here we go. If I put my hand on it, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? Look at that.
Yeah.
Completely changes the resonance. But if I think that, which I can't actually, didn't want to come on.
Isn't it amazing how all these things, good instrumentation, whether it's RF or audio or video or whatnot, used to be you paid thousands of dollars for these things, and now they're comparatively inexpensive and readily available. You just have to know what you're looking for.
I guess there's an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi inside that thing.
Yeah.
Getting back to the iPhone, a topic that I have almost zero interest in, except for one exception.
Oh yeah, go.
As there was a big announcement, did I hear that the eSIMs are happening in one of the iPhones next time?
They are indeed, and you'll never guess what the #1 operator. In fact, so I send you a screenshot. No, well, you can guess who the #1 operator providing eSIMs for Apple.
In where, though?
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
I'm going to guess it's not the Chalk Valley LTE.
No, it might have been a previous life, though.
Where were we 3 years ago?
Really?
Yeah.
TruePhone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's TruePhone, and that technology we built that about 3 years ago, and it should have been in the iPhone 10. But I'm not going to say on there why it wasn't, but there were a number of reasons why it didn't quite make it into the iPhone 10. But essentially the technology in there was put together about 3 years ago.
And what about the watch? Everybody's talking about the watch, but is the watch going to ever have an eSIM? Because that would make more sense than the phone to me.
Yeah, probably. Samsung, the smartwatches, the state-of-the-art LTE versions that they have, they already do have eSIMs.
My understanding from my neighbors who are very excited about the watch is that it does have an eSIM and that you can make voice calls as long as it's Bluetooth paired to an audio device.
Yeah, well, I can make voice calls on my first generation Apple Watch.
But
In fact, Andy, should you demonstrate that? Just phone me on my Apple Watch.
But do you have to have the iPhone nearby?
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Yeah, in the new watch you don't.
But the important thing is I can take the call and the audio comes out of my watch, and in a moment you'll see it will light up.
We believe that.
He's going to phone me.
The point is that the autonomous watch can make calls. It just needs a Bluetooth device, right, Michael?
Right. Yeah. Just needs audio.
Okay, there we are. The problem is it rang on my iPhone as well, but there we are. I don't know where you. If I point it.
I'm doing it again. No, your video's now gone because I'm calling your iPhone.
You probably interrupted him.
Yeah.
There we are. The problem is it comes out on my iPad as well. So anyway, I've answered Andy now. I don't know whether you can see that.
No,
we can't. The video has gone because there's an incoming call.
Now is that because he's on a CDMA? Is it changing modes or something?
Have you hung up?
I have hung up. Do you want me to ring again? Okay.
Well, the problem is.
Okay, so.
There we are. Right, I've answered it on my watch. Oh, God.
And you can't see because his iPhone won't show you.
As compelling as this is.
Yes.
This is rubbish.
We have about 8 minutes left.
That's a rubbish demo.
Yeah, let's hang up on that, and then I
that's not a dangerous demo at all.
Yeah, there's a difference between dangerous and silly.
Totally unrehearsed, and it didn't really work because, of course, my iPad rings as well as the Apple Watch.
I think the only reasonable demo of the new Apple Watch will be preventing somebody from dying from the heart disease.
Yeah, well, I've got that already. I've got the cardiogram app on my watch. Anyway.
But you have to get the version 4 to have the actual thing that's monitoring you constantly.
No, you don't. You just need the cardiogram app.
No, because the new one is FTC.
I've got it on here.
It's not FTC approved. Is it FTC actually? Is that right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but it's the same app.
Yeah, but one is approved and one isn't.
No, it's the same app that's got FTC approval. So anyway.
No, it took a year to get.
I'm sure it did. But anyway.
And that's what they're bragging about.
Yeah, the Apple Watch is surprisingly useful. Sophie's got one now, and she uses it all the time, mainly to monitor my exercise levels. Because if you didn't know, what you do is you...
Because she's wondering if you're awake.
No, behave yourself. Oh, I don't know whether you can see or...
I don't like technology clipping on me. Nope.
Anyway, what you get is a twin display, so you can compare your exercise levels with your partner. And then she phones up and gives me a hard time, so you haven't...
Unless your partner is Stormy Daniels, I don't think...
Yes.
Thank you, Corrado. You're a great audience. It's time. We have 6 minutes left. Let's hear the Chalk Valley report on progress for the LTE, whatever it is you're doing.
Well, have you not seen the little video? Did I not send the little video clip from yesterday?
I don't know if it's one of those True Phone cow things we can pass.
No, it's not that. It's got John Glenn, the minister. Can
you please put a link somewhere so that people can all see it, and we'll make sure that it gets...
Yeah, well if I send it to you, then you can put it up.
Put it in IRC. Oh, you're not in IRC. Put it on here, and I'll put it in IRC.
Okay. Yeah, I've got to find it first.
In fact, does it have music?
No, it's got a good voiceover.
No music? Well, voiceover what? There's no music. There's no voiceover. It's voice. There's no music. We can play it. So get the link.
It has no music. And it's on YouTube as well.
Well, give me the link and we can play it.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I'm just trying to think where.
Looking and finding are two different
while panicking.
Oh,
5 minutes.
I'm going.
4 minutes, 45 seconds.
Stop giving me a hard time.
Well, I'm fascinated by that, Corrado. So your automotive car, because I figure that one of the reasons I'm so comfortably retired is because we haven't owned a car in all this time. And actually, before that, my car was paid for by the company anyway. So somebody else's company, I mean, not mine. We could have actually, there's an argument that we could have done better tax-wise by owning a vehicle and amortizing it, or even leasing, as some people do. During when we had, I mean, we could have had a car paid for by the company that we owned, but we didn't. But insurance is so expensive in most areas. Maybe in Scotland it's no big deal. Fuel in Europe too. How does wonder how fuel price compares between Scotland and France?
It is expensive. Throughout the UK, petrol is quite expensive.
Yeah, because the US is like 1/2 or 1/4.
Yeah. And they go by the gallon, so I don't know how to compare that.
I rent it, and I hate driving anyway, so I don't miss it.
No, I love driving, especially around here in Scotland. It's so beautiful. So
that's a good point. Can I rent a car cheap if I come over there?
No.
You can buy a car cheap and rent a car cheap.
Yeah. You can buy a car for less than it costs to hire one.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a couple of places I know where you can buy a car for under 150 quid.
Even that cars are expensive in the UK, then your car rentals must be exorbitant.
Apparently.
Compared to the US, they're very expensive.
Well, I paid way too much last time I was in the US, but when we went to California, it was like under $600 for a month rental of a car. Decent, compact.
That's good.
I thought that was very cheap.
Yeah.
As soon as you tell them that you don't want all of the daily insurance, which is another $22 a day at least.
There we go. I've posted it in the Hangouts text.
In the Hangouts, I don't see it.
Well, it's clearly arriving around the place from all the bongs that are going on.
Yep, got it.
I don't have it. It's in group chat.
Can you put Corrado? Can you then drop it into IRC?
Yeah, please do.
I got it from them on the mobile. Let me see if I can push it.
Group chat.
And
I don't see why do I not see it though?
I don't know.
Really weird.
Your eyes are dim, you cannot see.
No, there's nothing there. Wait a minute. Chat on and off, maybe?
Well, I heard it go bong on your PC.
No, it went bong on my phone over here.
Right, do you
question?
You can show it.
Question for you, James.
Yes.
Pricing of these new iPhones. Do you think this is onerous?
Yeah.
It's market pricing. They're pricing to a level that the market will stand. Their profit margin is enormous. The bill of material for building something like an iPhone XR, the big one, is going to be no more than about $160, $170. Yet they're selling them for around $1,000. So yeah, they're making a lot of money on that.
So the cheap one is about $720, $750. The new inexpensive model, right?
The XS. So the XS is a smaller one. The XR is the bigger one. The XR is the one with the soft SIM in, and the one that you want to get. I would suggest you want the top of the range one.
My problem is you can get a decent laptop for that price.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. The XR 750 as.
But you can't put a decent laptop in your pocket.
To be honest, with a phone that size, I think you probably need bigger pockets than you've got anyway.
Yeah.
And I keep on running out of pockets because my pockets are full of things like this.
You can buy this terrific Motorola phone, a G6 Plus or whatever it's called, for $230, and it's a fantastic phone. That's not even 200 euros.
I always carry two. I've got a Pixel 2 XL and an iPhone 7
Plus.
You could buy a car for the price of those two phones combined.
Yeah, no loyalty brand.
If my son's doing the buying, you could buy about 10.
Yeah, you're doing
cars.
It's 1859.
Have you had battery issues on your Pixel 2?
No, I don't. That's why I went for the big Pixel, because the big one has a bigger battery. No, the battery life in the Pixel is very, very good.
It used to be in the first gen Pixel 2 until Pi came along. Pi, I've documented this, and there's many hundreds of people who have the same problem. Once you upgrade to Pi, power management of the Wi-Fi is dreadful. Wi-Fi cuts your battery life by about half.
Okay.
Apparently, is because Pi is more active in looking for open networks and alternative networks.
No, because you can turn that off and it still does it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I just started that wire. Yeah.
So, final comments around the table, because I have some risotto waiting for me, and I don't want to miss.
Risotto?
Yes, it's delicious.
Risotto.
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 Risotto. That's the correct pronunciation. Risotto.
I bet you're one of those people who says camelio as well.
All right, gentlemen, we can go around the table with your final recommendations. Benny?
Be good.
My final recommendation for today is avoid new iPhones.
Don't buy a house with a thatched roof.
Michael?
Get a good night's rest.
Yeah, really.
And yours?
That. Corrado, did you give one? You said be good or something?
Yeah, be good.
That's it?
Yeah.
Johnny, be good.
Be good. What's yours, Randy?
What if this all worked? Yeah. The Endo says ZZZZ. Well, we're going off. ZipDX may continue for as long as Michael feels like doing it, but in the meantime...
Yeah. Well, can I say, get everybody to watch that little video.